You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never...
And what's true, you know? And I've been seeing y'all memes and stuff. People be making memes. I see the memes. I see them now. Some of that stuff is funny. Some of it's funny. But I haven't addressed any of this publicly, but I just want to say this very clearly. I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all them memes. I can stop all of that. I ain't been nowhere near no damn freak off. Listen, I do enough of my own. Don't be putting me in other people.
For years, key figures in entertainment thrived behind a shield of silence. Not because there weren't questions, but because challenging the status quo was too risky for most. Now, that silence is starting to fracture. A meticulously crafted documentary steps into the limelight, cutting through the noise with precision and intent, far beyond mere spectacle. As the spotlight refocuses on powerful figures and scrutiny intensifies, one undeniable question rises above all. How much was concealed? Not because it was hidden, but because silence protected it, fueled it, and kept it untouchable far longer than anyone is willing to acknowledge.
Dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were going to beat up Will Smith. Is that true? You really heard that? Nah. What? Yeah, I watched it on the internet. You're telling me I can't believe everything I read?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
Yeah. Here we go. What?
For years, Hollywood relied on a familiar strategy: stay silent, maintain control, and wait for the public's attention to shift. This tactic protected power and crafted the narrative on its own terms, until the weight of the truth became too much to ignore. Now, a documentary emerges at the precise moment when silence falters and distractions no longer provide refuge, signaling a pivotal shift where avoidance crumbles, and long-ignored questions are forced back into the public eye.
Should've never slapped Chris. I'm not watching the movie. Not happening.
You don't understand. Do you understand why he slapped Chris? Did you see in that moment from probably what he was dealing with?
What was he dealing with? What the f was he dealing with?
Something made him slap his brother.
No, something didn't make him snap anything. He laughed at that bad joke that Chris said like everybody else. And then Jada looked at him and it was like the Manchurian Candidate.
Not the Manchurian.
Real life. Don't. If that shit ain't real life, that ain't acting.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street stars. Know what time it is.
Now, I have to ask before we get out, because I don't want to forget it. Your earrings just reminded me of Black Power, Black Excellence, and I just need your take on it, because Emancipation comes out in 1 hour. Came out December 9th, which is today's the 9th, right?
That's such a fucking below the belt fucking question.
No, but I just got
It's the only below the belt question that you've asked because you already know what's gonna happen. Don't front. We've been down there. Fuck Will Smith.
No, wait.
He can kiss my ass.
Wait.
He should have never slapped Chris. I'm not watching the movie.
Damn it.
It's not happening.
You don't understand. Do you understand why he slapped Chris? Did you see in that moment from probably what he was dealing with?
What was he dealing with?
Shit, I don't know.
What the fuck was he dealing with?
Something made him slap his brother.
No, something didn't make him snap anything. He laughed at that badass joke that Chris said like every fucking body else. And then Jada looked at him and it was like the Manchurian Candidate.
Not the Manchurian. Not the Manchurian. God damn it.
That's what the fuck happened.
I thought there's a legion of women who said, I'm glad for Will fighting for his woman.
Yeah, because they still want to believe that sham of a fucking marriage is real.
Oh. Well, there you go.
He ain't never gonna be Tupac, and she proved it when she fucked August Alsina.
Ooh, man. Yeah.
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house fucking screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills. Bashir Gray.
By letting silence define the story, delay gradually evolved from a mere tactic into a powerful shield. When a system survives by evading accountability, its force reckoning is never without consequence. It disrupts structures once meticulously controlled and safeguarded. And if silence held sway for so long, its collapse leaves behind one undeniable question: what was truly being protected all those years?
It all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff and he's in the exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he going, I'm just looking at the places where he picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I was like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said butt plug. And I was like, hey, yo. I was messing with him. Because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same, tease him. I'm still gonna mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I say, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. When he got I just waited at the counter. When he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like he gave the guy a stack something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet and we flew to G4 jet and we flew to North Carolina. So
what remained hidden wasn't just one isolated incident, but a recurring system. Ties built on status and proximity, continuously brushed off as mere coincidence, never probed for what they truly exposed. His influence was clear to all, yet conversations seldom ventured beyond accomplishments, access, and visibility, as familiarity quietly took the place of scrutiny and repetition dulled curiosity. This isn't about accusations. It's about the environment and conditioning. It's about how patterns vanish once they're deemed normal, and how the deepest blind spots emerge when people are taught to accept what's in front of them, instead of questioning why the same events keep happening.
They were in the room, and they would go in the room with another couple, right? And I've seen some things happen in the jacuzzi. Like when I'm the only one could go to the room 9 times out of 10. When Puff was the one who, was in the presidential suite, I'm the only one allowed. I gotta watch the door. No one can get into that door. I'm the only one that had the pass key or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you would hear a boom, 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 a thump or whatever the situation is and stuff like that. Yo, what's up? Everything good? And sometimes they would open the door. I'm right there by the door. Sometimes you see things you don't want to see.
Hey, did they ever try to get you involved? Or
not at all.
Offer you?
Not at all. Puff did it one time, but that's in my book. When he was coming from Dallas, he had the snow bunnies. And I reneged on that. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, did you see any celebrities Puffy did any of that stuff with? The swinger stuff with?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me about that.
I think I told you about that. One time, him and Sarah and this young girl flew from Atlanta. And and flying from Atlanta, we had this artist with us, right? And we were staying in the presidential suite at the hotel. And this particular artist and Puff, they told me, don't let nobody come in the room. So I said, all right, cool. So I propped my chair by the room.
Power rarely functions in isolation. It flows through access and influence, with those drawn into its orbit often accumulating benefits subtly over time, while hidden costs accumulate out of sight. In such systems, distance is never accidental. It's a deliberate choice, driven by awareness, strategy, and self-preservation, not by chance or randomness.
Movie Emancipation, how the fuck you gonna play in a movie called Emancipation and you can't emancipate yourself?
Ooh. Bars.
Cause you trapped in a hole. My nigga, you trapped in a hole. This bitch clowning you day after day after day after day. And once again, I hate saying these things because their children are dope. But Jaden's kind of MIA. And considering that he emancipated from their household at 16 and refused to come back, even to do family interviews. You know?
Yeah.
Willow's just kind of, she's dope. Too much shit happened in that fucking house. Too much shit happened in that fucking house. And meanwhile, I go to jail for defending my child and these niggas don't even get a CPS fucking visit for the kind of shit they kids see.
Yeah.
You know?
There you go.
So yeah, I'll watch the movie when, I'll watch Emancipation when he emancipates himself from the hell that he lives in, that he tries to call marriage with that woman who still wished Tupac was alive.
The closer someone gets to power, the steeper the cost of asking tough questions too early. When access offers immediate rewards but consequences are delayed, the real concern isn't timing, it's figuring out who will shoulder the fallout when the narrative eventually shifts.
But enjoy the film, buy lots of popcorn. I ain't supporting shit he fucking do. He's a bad representation for black men. He is literally the epitome of a ballless man. I'm sick and tired of people making our black men look weak. I'm sick and tired of that shit because I don't know no nigga that would put up with the shit that bitch done put him through. Now you could justify staying because you ain't want to cut up the money because she would have got the child support and the alimony, but the kids is grown. So if you staying now, it's either because you being blackmailed to stay or you too lazy to go. He housebroken. That don't fit right for a Philly nigga. But he did grow up in Overbrook though. He didn't technically grow up in West Philly. That was Jazzy Jeff's life he was writing about. He lived over there, not far from where Kobe Bryant grew up. That's the other side of City Avenue. He came up Overbrook, you know, so they had big houses, and he wasn't at the playground, get beat up. That was Jazzy Jeff.
A public break draws a definitive line, marking the transition from sustained restraint to intentional separation. In today's media world, a denial isn't just a response. It's evidence that the narrative has crossed a point of no return. When delivered calmly and in full view, it creates strategic distance without escalating conflict. Yet, timing remains crucial. When boundaries emerge only after silence becomes too risky, it highlights the core issue. What is the true cost of speaking up before caution evolves into a far more costly form of restraint?
I'm gonna get into this Diddy documentary that's been going on, man. It's still number one as far as I know, man. I mean, I don't know how many millions of times this thing has been streamed, but this thing it's kind of crazy how big this thing actually is, you know, because us that's been following for a really long time, you know, kind of heard a lot of the stuff, man, but people are still going crazy for it, man. So what was your first reaction when you first seen it?
When I first seen it, I said, damn, they stole my whole damn idea. You understand? Because I was talking to the producers, and before I talked to the executive director, and the producers knew, I was telling them what I was bringing to the table. Because I was trying to get a deal for me, Kirk, and Tim all together. Like a package deal. I wanted to try to get like 50,000.
A documentary redefines the playing field, transforming fragmented moments into a cohesive narrative and turning background noise into a purposeful sequence. By placing isolated events into a structured timeline and broader context, 50 Cent shifts the focus from speculation to documented patterns. This isn't about judgment, it's a reset. A reset that demands we question why certain inquiries were never raised, why others faded away, and how evasion was allowed to pass as resolution for far longer than it should have.
So I told them what we was bringing to the table, who was going to tell the story, how they was going to tell their story. You know, I didn't know exactly what they were going to say, but I knew Tim grew up with Puff, so he can get the childhood thing. So I'm going and telling them the whole angle in which I would like for this to go. You know what I'm saying? What we was bringing to the table. I didn't know how they was going to do it, but I was saying, this is what we're going to bring to the table. Tim could start off with the childhood part of it because they grew up together. That's Tim Patterson. Also, you know, he was the one who was working at Uptown. He was a executive over there of A&R and all that other stuff. He went to Island Records. He used to work with over there at Arista, the whole 9 yards. Tim is the one who had the Lost Boys. If you remember the Lost Boys, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Tim was the manager of them. That was his group and everything like that. So Tim had a lot of inside and a lot of stuff to do with Puff. I had a lot of other people I could have brought to the table too. Eddie F, who taught Puff how to work the board and everything like that. Just Eddie F, Heavy D, and the boys DJ. I was going to try to get Eddie and some other people like that, but it fell through because the lady was telling me what somebody else didn't give me or what somebody else didn't pay me, and she was being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was a white lady. I'm finding out she's a sister.
Long-form investigation challenges an industry built on short attention spans by refusing to let narratives dissipate as expected. When meticulous documentation replaces casual disregard, the battle extends beyond the facts and into the realm of control. Who has the power to define the enduring narrative? And who is now losing the ability to rewrite, delay, or quietly erase what no longer serves their interests?
You know, Diddy has a long list of victims. You know, I mean, you got Cassie, Kurt Burrows, Shine, Little Rod, Mark Curry. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on of all the people who he's did wrong. You know, out of all the people you've heard of, and all the stories that you heard and the stuff that you know about, you know, who do you think is like Diddy's biggest victim?
Who I think Diddy's biggest victim is?
Yep.
The mothers.
Okay.
Big's mama. Wolf's mother. The people that lost their sons. They could never get that back, especially with those those are the two people that changed his life, put him on that pedestal to be a great producer. So I believe the mothers in them that lost their sons are the biggest victims of it all.
Man, that's deep, man. That's crazy, man. You know, because I mean, you know, you brought up Big and the mom, and in the documentary they even talk about Diddy not paying for the funeral, acting like he's gonna pay it, but then billing it to Biggie. What was your thoughts on that? When you seen that, were you surprised when you seen that?
No, I wasn't surprised, you know, because they said that when Big died, he built the estate. He took it out of Big's his budget. You understand what I'm saying? So
yep.
I wonder who got the life insurance policy. It was crazy.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.
The response to renewed scrutiny reveals the stark disparity in accountability. Some face immediate consequences, while others remain shielded by reputation, legacy, or entrenched alliances. The surge of attention and its far-reaching effects make one thing undeniable. Protection isn't an anomaly within the system, it's built into its framework. This isn't about covert collaboration, it's about how the system naturally operates. And when responsibility only emerges once silence no longer serves its purpose, one unavoidable question stands out. Can any system that takes so long to act genuinely claim fairness or